But now Paul arrives at the crux of his argument, his most important point. And how can they hear and receive the message of salvation unless someone is sent to them with that message? Think about that. We as disciples of Jesus, are called to a very important and very critical role in God's plan for salvation. That of being God's messengers of the gospel. You're called to be God's mouthpiece to those who are dead in their sins and alienated from their Creator God by those sins. Indeed, you are called to share the word. That's one of the critical, important parts of your calling as a disciple of Jesus. You have to know the word. Think of all those sermon titles we had before, right? You have to know the word. You have to trust the word. You have to hear the word. And then you are called and sent to share the word. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, if you would. And I want you to think about the people in your life. Think about your family members, your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends, your fellow students at school, your customers perhaps, your vendors, the people you do work with. Think of the people in the grocery store or at the Lambertville hardware store that you run into, the members of your community. Think of all those people and think about how many of them do not know Jesus. Think about how many of them have not had their sins washed away. Think about how many of them are still trapped by their sin in death and hell. You see, your service to God is incomplete if you hoard this good news that Jesus himself has given you. You can open your eyes now. I almost look like you'd all gone to sleep. You see, the world needs to hear this message of salvation in Jesus Christ now more than ever. Right? Why is our world so crazy, upside down, and tumultuous right now? Well, there's a whole lot of falsehood and untruth that's being spewed out over all kinds of media. Everyone's looking for salvation, and they're looking in all the wrong places. Folks, we have the message. God has entrusted that with us. If we as Christians are timid and embarrassed and ashamed of the gospel, the kingdom of God will wither on the vine.